Welcome to Fika's Focus. Voices leading change.
Kia ora everyone, welcome back to Fill the Gap. We're here with Courtney. Tēnā koe, Courtney.
Kia ora.
Okay, we are talking about the Children's Vulnerability Act and safety checking. So we are required to go through a process to check the safety of any person that is working, that we offer or give a full-time contract, well, actually even relieving, sorry. So anyone who has worked with children, we have to go through a process that upholds the Children's Vulnerability Act. Courtney, do you want to talk to us about that?
So the Children's Act is what guides us along with the ECE regulations. So how that works is that any person employed to work as a core children's worker needs to be fit and proper and suitable to work. So what we do is we follow a 7-point safety check. We are required to conduct an interview and ask some questions around safety with children and just to get to understand you a little bit better. We also require, 5 years of work history. That's some information that we'll be asking you alongside your CV. We also need 2 forms of identification, and that's something we've got a list of different types that we can use, so we can talk you through that. We also require to do a reference check, preferably a current employer or the most recent employer would be ideal. And sometimes we like to do 2 or 3 reference checks just to ensure that we're following the right and the correct processes there. And for staff who are not a registered teacher, we will have to conduct a police vet with your request, with your
authorisation. It's important to understand that we must advocate for the children. We go through this process. We also, when it comes to the references, we would prefer to have your last place of employment. That's important because we want to know a whole range of things, but obviously if you're coming to us, you've either moved and that's just what it is, or maybe you're unhappy where you are and you're looking for a change of space, and that's important to us. But we also need to know what it was like working, what you were like working on a team and things like that. And then we have to go back through that process after a certain period of time. Do you want to talk to that, Courtney?
Yep, so every 3 years we need to then do a 4-point safety check. So it's a smaller check that we need to do, but for the ones that require police vet, we'll redo the police vet and just recheck IDs and any identification that's expired through it before the due date of the next safety check. We will also need to gain copies of that.
And what about for some of our teaching team that have come in from overseas, or maybe returning Kiwis coming in from overseas? So let's deal with immigrant teachers first.
If you're a registered teacher here in New Zealand, the Teaching Council have already obtained a police vet from your previous residence, country of residence. And if you're non-qualified, then we do require a copy of a police vet for the past 10 years that you've been outside of New Zealand.
And for example, myself, when Courtney and I came back from living in the Middle East, it took a long time to get a police clearance record from Qatar, which was really hard. And we've also had another staff member who took a long time to get their records through from Canada. So it can take some time, but it is important. I think it's just being clear here that we go through a process to make sure that the applicant is entirely suitable to be able to be working with children. That's why we prefer to do 2 or 3 referees, depending on who it is, just to make sure that we are not leaving any stone unturned. Also, just on that, when we go through that police check process, just going back to what you're saying about the non-qualifieds, it takes time as well, and I think that's important.
It does take time. It can take like 20 days, 4 weeks. It can take quite a while. So it's slow moving. So that's probably the first thing that we would like to get started and go from there.
Okay, thank you very much. That's safety checking. Let's fill the gap.
Thanks.